All right, so today is gonna be a leg day. We're gonna do an evidence-based workout. We're gonna focus on the posterior chain, so booty and hamstrings. One of my friends who just had a baby said he's getting a dad butt, so that's why we're gonna do this workout. And anyone that wants to do it is welcome to join us. So, based on EMG studies, exercises that maximally stimulate the glute max, this is at a 12 rep max weight, was the short stride lunge, the long stride lunge, and then the single leg squat. And this is the percentage, the standard mean of activation, so 64, 62, and 57. So we're gonna be doing some of these exercises for that reason. And then the hamstrings, the sumo deadlift, conventional deadlift, maximally stimulate the medial hamstrings the most, while the lateral hamstrings are both equally stimulated at 41% with the sumo or conventional deadlift. Now, the study did not take into account open chain exercises such as hamstring curls, like prone hamstring machines, which I've seen studies, those typically have the most hamstring activation, but I don't have those on hand. I can do another video where we go over that. And then also it did not take into account the Romanian deadlift, which most likely will have more hamstring activation than the sumo or conventional, just because that's what it primarily focuses on. So what's the workout then to maximally stimulate our glutes and hamstrings? So we're gonna do GHD hamstring curls, supersetted with sumo deadlifts. For that reason, we're gonna hit the sumo because we're gonna get maximal lateral and medial head hamstring activation. Then you're gonna do short stride lunges. Therefore, we're gonna get the glute max the most. If you can go uphill, that's even better. But any type of elevation exercise, so hills or stairs, you're gonna activate the glutes more. That's what they primarily do, or hip extension and external rotation. So that's why uphill and stair exercises, you're gonna get more glute activation. Next will be single leg back squats. It's a pyramid, so 10, 8, 6, and then 3 and 4. This is gonna be glute max. You're also gonna get a lot of quadricep activation. Single leg exercises stimulate the vastus medialis oblique the most. I had knee problems many years ago, and that's why I switched to only single leg exercises typically. I hardly do bilateral, and ever since then my knee pain went away. So it's a really good rehab exercise for knee pain. We can do another video on knee pain and rehab exercises. So the reason why we're doing the deadlift second, doing it second where the hamstrings are already fatigued, that way you don't need as much weight to get benefit. So that's a way you can train around injuries. Exercise order and selection is almost as important as the exercise you're doing. So these will be dead stop deadlifts. That just means you're resetting after each rep instead of touch and go, or where you touch the ground and come straight back up. The reason for that, there's less of an injury risk. You can reset, get good mechanics, as well as maintain spinal compression. So what if you don't have a GHD machine? A simple way to makeshift GHD hamstring curls or Nordic curls, or what these are called, you can use a barbell, use weight, and typically you want something wedged under the plates so it doesn't roll, so small plates. So your heel's wedged against the barbell so it won't move. You want a towel or mat under your knees to prevent compression against the floor, and then you just do the same thing. Slowly lower down. Push with your arms and then try to use your hamstrings to pull back up. anatomy review of the day in between sets is going to be the glute max and the hamstrings. So the glute max inserts or originates on the ilium and inserts on the posterior aspect of the femur, the proximal femur. So as you can see, if it shortens, it's going to externally rotate that femur like this, and then it also will extend the hip if it shortens like this. That's why extension exercises or external rotation exercises work the glutes, such as deadlifts and the other exercises we're doing. And then the hamstrings insert on the ischial tuberosity, so your sit bone is what people call it. All of them insert on the ischial tuberosity except one. That's an important board question. So the one that does not is the short head of the biceps femoris. Also important is that it does not receive innervation from the tibial division of the sciatic nerve. It receives innervation from the common perineal division of the sciatic nerve, although all of them are still innervated by the sciatic nerve proper because it has not split yet into the common perineal or tibial nerves. So when it shortens, again, hip extension, and then if it shortens at the knee, it'll do knee flexion. So they all do knee flexion, and they all do hip extension except the short head of the biceps femoris, which is common perineal. Glute max is innervated by the inferior gluteal nerve, L5, S1, S2 nerve roots, and then the hamstring muscles are innervated by the sciatic nerve, like we mentioned, either the common perineal or tibial divisions. It's still the sciatic nerve, but inside of it, it has two divisions. And then that would be the sciatic nerve, which is a large innervation of L3 through S4, depending on what source you look at. Hamstrings are feeling good. Walking barbell lunges, 3 sets of 30 yards. If your legs are pretty tired already, you can decrease it to 20 or even 15 yards. If you don't have the space to do walking lunges, you can do alternating single leg lunges like this. If you're going to do 30 yards of if you were going to do 30 yards of walking lunges, do 20 per leg of those. So remember, these are going to be short stride lunges because we were focusing on the glutes. The shorter the stride, you'll also get much more quadricep involvement. And then remember to keep the weight on your heels. Don't put the weight on the balls of your feet. You want to be able to lift your heels off the ground if you wanted to. That will help prevent any type of patellofemoral knee pain and increase stress on your patella tendon and quadricep tendon, but also help focus putting the weight on the posterior chain as well. When you do it, you would lunge So don't put the weight on the front where the heel's in the air. The heel should never come in the air. You should be able to lift the toes in the air. So just like when we do our single leg squats, down, and instead of going forward, actually sit backwards. That way my toes can come off all day. I'm pushing off with my heels. So you're stepping forward, but then sitting backwards. Stepping forward, and then sitting backwards. Tell you what, these short strides are destroying my quads. Legs are already jello, which is a good sign, but not good for people just starting out doing these. So we're gonna make a game time decision and change the single leg squat from the pyramid to 3 sets of 12, less weight, just because the legs are pretty fatigued. And the most important thing on these is a deep squat with good form, keeping the weight on the heels, just like the lunges. You want to be able to lift your toes up in the air if you wanted to, because as you can see, the deeper you squat, the more the glute gets stretched. The more it gets stretched, the more it's going to develop, and that's what we're focusing on. So, see how I can lift my toes in the air if I wanted to. Again, you're not going forward. We don't want stress on our knee, patella, quad, tendons. You want to sit backwards, just like that. Not sure how much weight I'm going to need. My 10 rep max was 195 several months ago. But again, we're doing this later in our workout. That way the legs are already tired, so we don't need a lot of weight, so we don't have to load our spine. So that's why we're doing it in this order. Legs are jello. Oh, we cannot walk. Oh boy. Oh yeah. All right, my legs are jello. We're not gonna do the belt or the donkeys For one, legs are jello. For two, the only bad thing about the garage gym, setting up the build squat, I use at least 500 pounds and I do not feel like loading that up. If you feel up to it, we're gonna do some conditioning. So a 10-minute AMRAP, as many rounds or reps as possible. 20 air squats, 10 slam ball pickups or deadlifts. If you don't have a slam ball, you can use a dumbbell. I'll show you how to do that. So 20, 10, and then 5 burpees. So a lot of legs, which is why we're doing these exercises, because we did legs today. We always do our anabolic conditioning based off what the primary lifting muscles were. So one round is 35 reps. And let's go. So if you don't have a slam ball, pick a weight that you can do 20 reps. The slam ball weight should also be a weight that you could probably do 20 to 25 reps in a row if you were pushing it. So basically it's just a dumbbell. The bigger dumbbells will be higher off the ground. Basically you just pick it up, up, just like that. Post leg day anabolic conditioning, 20 air squats, 10 slam ball or dumbbell pickups or deadlifts, and then 5 burpees. Finishing up the dad butt workout. You can thank Dale J. Cooper. All dad butts everywhere can thank Dale for this workout. Ready? so that is an evidence-based posterior chain, so booty and hamstring workout. We got 145 on that AMRAP, 4 rounds and 5 burps. So if you want a booty to look like this, do this workout. You can thank, we're all dad butts everywhere. You can thank Dale Cooper for suggesting this workout. For more workouts and evidence-based fitness, pain, and rehab medicine, as well as meals, subscribe to our Instagram or YouTube channel.